sister friends, it's Terry from Sisterhood of the Traveling Brush. Today's video is going to be quick. We are recovering the dining chairs before we have company coming over. You can see the original chair here. This one already has the first coat of paint on it. Both coats of paint can be on there, and that can be ready to use in a couple of hours, and I'm hoping that we finish this seat cover in just a couple of minutes. I'm going to show you what I got here, and we'll link this stuff below. This is the fabric of my choice. I wanted to make these a lot happier looking and a little eclectic looking. I got this at Hobby Lobby. I got 3 yards because I figured it would take close to 2 yards to do the chairs, and I wanted a little bit left over to do some throw pillows. So we are doing a quickie. If you're going into the upholstery business, or you have been, this is probably not the way you do it. If you're a DIYer and you want to hurry up and make your chairs that your kids got food all over look good because you got company coming, you can do this in just a few minutes. I'm linking a newer, better one of these for you below, but this is my old Montgomery Wards that belonged to my pawpaw back in probably the 50s. And I've been using it a long time, and I just ordered some new staples for it. It was out. I got this brand, Arrow. That's one of the top brands. And I got a 5/16 because I wanted to make sure that it did go into this wood good enough, and these mammy jammies are sharp. And I've got them loaded. If you need a video on how to load that, just ask me and I'll come back and do that. The only factory edge we had on this fabric is the one that has this white selvage or whatever it's called here on the edge. So if you're using that, for one, that's the straight edge. The rest of these had been cut by somebody at Hobby Lobby before, but you want to make sure that that's going to come far enough over your side to be hidden. This is what it currently looks like. If I was a professional, I would probably take all this off and fluff the stuffing. I will change the color of these many more times in my lifetime, so I'm not worried about that because it's not going to show through this bright pattern that I've got going here. So want to make sure that I have it pretty much centered in what I cut, and it could come back this way just a tad. There we go. Okay, and I think we're good everywhere. Maybe a little tighter there than here. If you have a pattern on your fabric, make sure, and I'll show you that in just a minute, make sure to line it up how you want it on the front. If it was important to you that this big flower be in the center of all of your pieces, for one, buy extra fabric to make sure you have enough of this size in there to do it with, and move it over before you cut it. You can look where the old staples were on here, and that's the same place I'm gonna staple again, hopefully right beside where they had the original ones. To begin with, I'm gonna do the bottom and then the top to stretch it out in the center. There we go. Pull it around, pull it taut. We're not wanting it to wrinkle, so I'm kind of pulling those wrinkles out. If you wanted to take this off, of course you could. I really like it having this cover under the bottom, so I'm leaving that on. Nobody's gonna get under your chairs and crawl around to look and see if this stuff is cut straight. So if they do, man, they deserve to find something. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing here. Pull it kind of taut and get it in the center. There's all kinds of ways to do this kind of stuff. These seats are wider in the front and narrower in the back, so you're going to have larger pieces of fabric in some areas. We'll cut that off later. There we go. Now the placement is there, and we just have to figure out how we're going to bring in the sides. Okay, now you just sort of make your way around doing the same thing. I'm going to put one on each side of the center, one on each of the edges, pulling it taut and making it even. making sure there's no wrinkles here in the front. Right now I'm going about 3 inches apart. This is going to be so much brighter and happier and more colorful. Pull those wrinkles out. Okay, now you can decide how you want to do your corners. If you, what they did here was gather from both directions in the center, so you could pull it this way, and then pull that over. Make sure there's no wrinkles in there, or do your best to, and pull that tight. We'll cut some of this off in a minute, but let's get a staple pretty far in, and then that didn't go far enough in. Let's go right here to the edge, right here to the edge. And whatever you do, whether you decide to pull it all one way and pull the other way over, or tuck 2 edges like I'm doing here, just stay consistent. At least both of the front the same and both of the back the same. I'm gonna do them all the same. Can you see what I'm doing here? I'm pulling the center in, pulling that kind of taut, then coming back over here to this side, grabbing it, making sure it's flat right there, and doing the same thing from the other direction. So it has a little pleat here and a little pleat here. Seats were just screwed into the base. So when you get ready to take this seat off of your base, just flip your chair upside down and look to see how it's attached. Most of the time, it's gonna be attached by screws, and you just undo those screws and wham bam, you are there. Okay, this is the back, and they've done it a little bit different on this one. They brought one side in, this is the back, and then they brought this one over it. If you look at that there, they brought this side in, and I'm gonna tuck a little bit of that in there, and this side over it. So we're just gonna get this right here. Get it from this direction. Same here. They brought this back in. Let's get that flat. I'm going to tuck this in a little. Pull that out as well. The corners are the most important part of having it look good, is to not wad them up in any kind of way. There we go. Okay, so all that's on there now. I'm just gonna come back through on each side and add another staple in between each of my original staples. But this is already, technically, you can stick it on there right now, but we just wanna make sure it's good and secure. I may put 2 right here, because there is a little more stress in the corners. Anywhere you feel the first staple didn't go in tight enough or the fabric looks loose, just stick you another one in there. The ones originally under here were probably 1 inch apart, but they weren't as industrial of a staple as I'm using now. These Mammy Jammies here are tough. They have these, by the way, if you don't have one, they're electric, and they're very, you're not having to use as much elbow grease as I'm using here, but I love knowing that my papa used this too. And in all probability, my mama, who redid her chairs all the time, used this same stapler. He probably bought it for her to begin with. But you know how it used to be. The tools belonged to the man, and the woman borrowed them. We may be getting close to empty. Let's see. There's here, you pull that. There's a few in there. That should have been enough, but we'll redo it. That way you can see this done too if you want. These are a little bit longer than my stapler will handle, so I broke off about this many before when I loaded it last time. It's a little bit shorter even. Just break it off of there. And then the way that I do it, I'm sure there's a smarter way, but the way I do it that works perfectly fine for the last 50 some odd years is I lay my staples in there. Bring this back around. That's slatched back up right there. And get these out of the way. Here we go. Off to the races. Is my husband's. Let's see if we can figure it out. This one's called the Power Shot. Oh, it takes staples or tacks. I may have some in it. Let's look and see. Wow, that was so much easier. Man, I may need to give this to my son. And he probably has a new one too. Wow, that's a lot easier. I was really doing a lot of manual work with the old one. With the old Montgomery Ward's one. This is easy. Oh, let's come around. One extra there. Wow, that's easy. I already did that one. I've already been all the way around. I'm going to come back and do all these corners one more time. Scrapbooking scissors to trim this, and we're just going to trim this down to, you know, get rid of the excess fabric. Keep it semi-straight, but this is really not going to show anyway, so it absolutely does not matter. Sharp scissors would be nice. Buy a nice sturdy set of chairs, whether you buy them brand new or whether my BFF gave me these, whether you get them at a thrift store or whatever, if it's quality made, you can do this every holiday if you want, every couple of years, every time you change your decor, and then, you know, for under $100 you have a whole new dining set. That includes the paint and the fabric. I paid about, you know how they always have the fabric at 30% off. I paid about $30 for the fabric. And all in all, I'll use about $34 worth of paint on the chairs. I'll use a quart. So there's how that looks. Here's how this looks. And let me sit it in the chair where it goes so you can see. And we'll just screw this right back in from the bottom as soon as the second coat of paint goes on there. There you go. That's really, really cute. If you can look at that compared to this, I'll take a picture and put here at the end. That definitely is two different chairs. Happy chair, old chair. Happy chair, old. Thanks for watching, and make sure and subscribe and ring the little bell and all the cool things, and send me pictures on, you can do it on any of my other social channels or whatever, and show me how you did yours. I would love to see. Thanks. Bye.